Every wild animal has a silent system running inside it. All the time, it scans everything. How fast something is moving, where it is coming from, how close it is getting, whether the eyes are locked on, and before the animal has time to think, the body already knows the answer. Run! Because when the shape walking toward you is human, the safest assumption is simple: danger. And the strange part is, this fear does not always need to be learned. Some animals react to humans even when they have never met one before. No memory, no bad experience, no hunter, no trap. Still, the fear is there, as if nature wrote it deep into the body before the animal was even born. So when we find a wild animal stuck in a net, trapped in mud, caught in a snare, or tangled in rope, we often imagine something comforting. We imagine the animal knows we are trying to help. We imagine it sees the difference between a human coming to kill and a human coming to save. But the truth is colder than that. At first, it probably does not see a rescuer. It sees the end. Because to a trapped animal, a human walking closer is not help. It is the final scene of a hunt. To understand why, you have to understand what being trapped does to the body. The moment a wild animal realizes it cannot move, the body enters emergency mode. Not fear like we understand fear. Something older, something deeper. Cortisol floods the blood. Adrenaline spikes. The heart starts racing, then races harder. Every reserve burns at once. The body is no longer trying to live tomorrow. It is spending everything on this moment. Fight now, escape now, or die here. A study in the European Journal of Wildlife Research found that ungulates caught in fencing showed higher cortisol levels than animals injured by gunshot or hit by vehicles, higher than being shot. That is how violent the state is inside the body. From the outside, it has a certain look. The pupils are wide. The body goes rigid, not nervous, locked. Like every muscle has signed a contract with survival. The mouth may open. The breathing becomes fast and shallow, and wildlife rehabilitators describe something strange. They say the animal sometimes looks like it has gone somewhere else, still alive, still looking, but not really present anymore. Only one thing remains: threat. So when a human steps closer, the animal does not think, "He is here to help me." It thinks, "The predator has arrived." That is why the thrashing often gets worse the closer people get. The animal's brain is reading the scene with ancient instructions. Predator approaching, no escape, last chance, use everything. And then sometimes, something changes. Not every time, not with every animal. But sometimes, in the middle of that panic, the animal stops. And not in the way an exhausted body stops. Something else happens. The shift is visible. The body softens by a fraction. The violent movement breaks. The animal turns, not away from the human, toward them. And then it watches. Almost like the system inside it has reached a problem it cannot solve. In December 2005, a crab fisherman found a female humpback whale tangled in rope lines 18 miles off San Francisco. The ropes were wrapped around her mouth, her fins, and her tail. 12 crab traps were hanging from her body. Each one weighed about 90 pounds. The weight was pulling her down. She had to fight constantly just to keep her blowhole above the surface. A rescue team arrived within hours. 4 divers entered the water with curved knives, and every one of them knew the same thing. One movement from her tail could kill them. Not because she wanted to, just because she was powerful enough. A 50-foot animal, around 50 tons, trapped, terrified, exhausted, and surrounded by humans with knives. But the moment the divers entered the water, she stopped moving. For more than an hour, she stayed near the surface while they worked around her body. And then she did something even stranger. She adjusted herself. She rotated. She extended a fin. She changed her angle, as if she was giving them access to the ropes. Now, scientists are careful here. They do not want to say too much. They do not want to turn a whale into a human. But the scene is still hard to ignore. A giant animal strong enough to destroy the rescue team by accident chose stillness. And that is where the question begins. Not with gratitude, not yet, but with recognition. Maybe not recognition of help the way we understand it, but recognition that this was not following the pattern of an attack. Because predators move in a certain way: fast, direct, aggressive. They close distance with purpose. They focus on the body. They trigger the old alarm system. But a human trying to help moves differently. Slow, careful, controlled. No sudden strike, no chasing, no biting, no tearing. The hands go to the trap, not the animal. The body stays calm. The sounds are strange, but not hunting sounds. And the animal's brain searches its library. Predator? No. Attack? No. Chase? No. Kill sequence? No. Nothing fully matches. So the crisis response stalls. The fear does not disappear. The animal does not suddenly trust. But the system loses its script. And when the body has no clear threat pattern to follow, it waits. In Yellowstone, researchers once found a wolf caught in a leg-hold trap. At first, everything happened exactly as expected. The wolf lunged, snapped, fought every approach. That is not aggression in the human sense. That is biology doing its job. Then one researcher stopped moving. He held steady eye contact. No rushing, no attack, no sudden movement, just stillness. Eye contact between predator and prey is not a small thing. It carries weight. A predator that is about to kill usually does not stare calmly into the eyes. It tracks movement, it watches the body, it calculates distance, it looks for weakness. But steady eye contact without attack is different. It does not fit cleanly inside the wolf's threat system. It is not comfort, but it is also not the normal shape of danger. After several minutes, the wolf stopped lunging. It sat down, and it stared back. When the team started working on the trap, the wolf watched their hands. Not blindly panicking anymore, watching. When the trap opened, it stood still for a moment, looked directly at the researcher, then walked into the tree line. That moment sounds emotional, but researchers describe it more carefully. They call it a suspension of threat response. The alarm does not switch off, the fear does not vanish. The animal simply cannot find the next step in the danger pattern. The predator does not attack. The pain stops. The trap opens. And for a moment, the animal is standing inside a situation nature never fully prepared it for. A human came close, and death did not follow. But the harder question comes after. What happens when the animal is already free? Because once the rope is cut, once the trap opens, once the mud releases the body, the survival answer should be obvious. Leave, immediately. Do not look back. Do not waste time. Get distance. That should be the end of the story, but sometimes it is not. When the last ropes were cut from the humpback whale near the Farallon Islands, she did not just disappear into the water. She swam in wide circles around the divers. Then she came close to each one by one. She nudged them gently with the tip of her jaw, then moved to the next. James Mosquito, one of the divers, later said it felt like gratitude. And maybe that word is too human. Maybe it is too soft. Maybe it tells us more about ourselves than about the whale. But still, something happened. Because humpback whales are not simple machines, they have spindle neurons, the same kind of specialized brain cells found in humans, great apes, and elephants. Cells connected with social awareness, emotion, and fast social decision-making. For a long time, people thought these cells were only found in primates, but whales have them too. That does not prove the whale was thankful. It does not prove she understood rescue. But it does mean the brain equipment for complex social processing exists inside her. So the real answer is uncomfortable. We cannot prove what she felt, but we also cannot honestly pretend there was nothing there. Elephants make the question even harder. In Kenya, juvenile elephants pulled from mud pits have been seen touching the people who freed them, trunk to hand, trunk to arm, before walking away. And with elephants, touch matters. The trunk is not just a nose, it is one of the most sensitive organs in the animal kingdom. More than 40,000 muscles, a huge density of nerves, almost like a hand, a scanner, and an emotional instrument at the same time. When an elephant reaches out with its trunk, it is not random, it is examining, reading, confirming. Sometimes, after being rescued, elephants hold that contact for several seconds. The trunk rests against the rescuer's arm, then slowly pulls away, not panicked, not defensive. Slow, deliberate, quiet. And this comes from an animal that remembers. Elephants recognize themselves in mirrors. They mourn their dead. They return to the bones of family members years later. They touch them with their trunks. They carry social memory across decades. So the idea that an elephant cannot tell the difference between a human who caused pain and a human who ended it is not easy to defend. Some researchers point to something even stranger. After being freed, some elephants do not run immediately. They stay near the people who helped them, for minutes. The danger is gone. The body is free. There is no clear survival reason to remain. And yet they stand there, not attacking, not fleeing, not grazing, just presence. As if the moment is not finished yet. So do wild animals know when a human is trying to help them? The honest answer is not clean. And maybe that is what makes it powerful. We do not truly know. What we do know is this. Some animals can suspend their fear response when a calm human does not behave like a predator. Some animals stop fighting, some watch the hands, some allow the trap to be touched. Some wait, and after rescue, some do things that are harder to explain. They turn back, they make contact, they stay close, they look. And these behaviors do not always serve an obvious survival purpose, but science cannot climb fully inside that moment. It cannot become the wolf at the edge of the trees, watching the humans walk back to their vehicles. It cannot become the whale in cold water, moving from diver to diver. It cannot become the elephant, resting its trunk against the arm of the person who pulled it from the mud. Maybe the animals understand more than we think. Maybe they understand less. Maybe they do not think in words like help, rescue, gratitude, or trust. Maybe they only feel patterns. Threat ended. Pain stopped. This being came close, and I survived. And maybe that is already something, because humans are animals too. We also run pattern recognition. We also search for meaning in eyes, gestures, pauses, and touch. And maybe when we look at these moments, we are not only asking what the animal knows, we are asking something about ourselves. Can another creature recognize mercy? Can fear stop long enough for something else to appear? Can a wild animal look at a human and understand, even for 1 second, that this one is not the enemy? Science may answer more of this one day. The data will grow, some mysteries will shrink. But for now, the researchers who study this honestly leave the question open. Because the animals do not give us a clear answer. They do not explain. They do not testify. They do not say thank you. They only pause. They look back. And then they leave.